Welcome. I'm Kenneth Haber, former Assistant United States Attorney and former Senior Attorney of the Office of Inspector General of Health and Human Services. With me today is Ramesh Khurana, well-known immigration attorney, handling cases internationally for years and years and years with a tremendous number of clients who are so well pleased with him. And he's here to explain to us concerning the B visa and the circumstances surrounding it. Welcome, Ramesh.
Thank you very much, Ken. Really appreciate your nice introduction.
Well, it's well earned. You know, your clients are so well appreciative of your services, and I'm sure that the viewing audience will be also when you explain to them about the V visa.
Thank you.
Visa.
Yeah, thank you. You made my day.
It's always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
Could you please explain to the audience the concept of a temporary visit to the United States for tourism and business?
Sure, Ken. I'll be very happy to do that. Ken, this B visa, this is called the tourist or business purposes visa. And this is a kind of a temporary stay in nature. And most of the members of the audience, they must be interested to know about this type of visa because they like their relatives and friends to visit the United States, to come and attend their weddings and participate in their other happy occasions. So that's why everybody is concerned. And Ken, the bad news is that when people apply for B1, B2 visa at the US Embassy, they are not sure whether they will be granted. There is complete uncertainty involved here. Of course, the rejection rate, I believe, is about 40 to 50%. But nobody can be sure that if you are applying for B1, B2, you will get it, because this is the sweet discretion of the consular officer who is interviewing the candidate for B1, B2. So when you say why it is temporary in nature, because their intent has got to be for a very short duration. Like, I am going to visit the United States for a few weeks, not more than 6 months. And after my stay is over, I want to go back. So that's the way it works.
I see. They don't want people overstaying, I presume.
No, not at all.
The consular officials, they get involved in the process of the decision making in what fashion?
Yeah, Ken, in fact, only the consular officers at the US Embassy or US consulates abroad, they are the ones who make the decision. You will be surprised to know that a consular officer hardly spends 2 to 3 minutes per application. So people who are applying for this type of visa, they have to over prepare. I am saying they have to over prepare. And I always say document, document, document. So documents are very important. What kinds of documents you are producing so that the consular officer can review some of those important documents. When I say important documents, you should not be stacking irrelevant documents at all. Like I said, officer has just 2 to 3 minutes. So just put at least most important ones which you would like to draw the attention of the consular officer, keep them on the top. I think he would hardly see 10 to 15 first pages. So never over document, but document all relevant papers. When I say why you have to document, because again you have to prove, like after you have stayed here for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever is the time granted to you for stay in the United States, you want to go back. And what you have to prove? Like, you have got strong ties with your country. How you can prove strong ties? Now, in fact, that's the kind of effort which is required here. You say that I have a job. I am working as an engineer in some corporation. I have been working as an engineer for the last, say, 5 years, 10 years, and I am going on vacation. Here is the approval notice or approval document for my vacation. And after my vacation period is over, I am going to go back to my country. Then show your bank accounts. I have $100,000 in my bank account or $10,000 in my bank account. So you show what kinds of immovable properties you got. You got a house, you have got some commercial property, you have got some agricultural land. So provide documentation about all your assets, and these are the ones which are going to prove that you have got strong ties to your home country and you have nothing to gain by leaving these assets in your home country and settling down in the United States.
You know, sometimes you forget, based upon your background and your ability based on your background, how easy it is to get things. When my wife's son wanted to come and visit, I wrote a letter. And of course, put down that I was a former assistant U.S. attorney and former senior attorney in the Inspector General's office, and that was his documentation. But it's not all that easy for other people, I presume.
You are 100% right. When you wrote that invitation letter, like inviting your relative or your wife's relative, so basically you provided credibility to your statement. And when you are writing about somebody, and especially who's a seasoned attorney now and former assistant U.S. attorney, and you are watching for it, you are saying, okay, I want to invite this person, and I'm stating here, or I'm giving an undertaking, this person, after staying here for 3 months or 5 months, whatever time is granted by the immigration department, he has to go back. So that carries a lot of credibility, and officer would probably would not see any other document. Officer would say, okay, I'm satisfied, this person has to go back.
Especially when I wrote down I'd kick him out of the house after so long.
That's good. Not everybody does that.
No.
Yeah, that's the point here.
Is there any prohibition of employment on the B1, B2 visa?
Oh yes, you know, like your first question was, it's a temporary nature. So this is only for the purpose of tourism, or to businessmen to come here to attend conferences, have some business meetings, or give demo of your products, or do little talk about your product, do some marketing and go back. So you cannot be paid while you are working here on behalf of your overseas company here. So you are making here just to make a deal. Let us say you want to sign a contract. So we understand a person has to come from overseas so that he can meet the counterpart of the company here and you can sign the contracts. But once the purpose is accomplished, go back, you know, and you can't be getting paid here.
I presume they could be paid by their company from back home for their services here, like selling a contract or something, but they have to be back home to get paid?
Yeah, because they are the employees of the overseas companies, and I'm pretty sure since they are on business trips and they get paid as per their entitlements.
Is there any other prohibitions on the B1, B2 visas?
Other prohibitions, you know, when we are talking about that you don't overstay. Of course, don't work, don't make any money here. And one more aspect I would like to discuss with you. Let us say that you want to change your status from B1, B2 to any other status. You came here with the intent of going back after 4 months. So after 2 months, you are a man and you meet with some lady and you start liking each other. And over a period of time, after 3 months, you think that you want to marry this lady and she happens to be a US citizen. Now the question is, what else could be done? So they can of course apply for the adjustment of status. But the point to be kept here is, when this person came to the United States, his intent was purely temporary in nature. But over a period of time, because he started liking one lady, her intent changed. And in our immigration terms, we say the person's intent changed from non-immigrant to immigrant. In that kind of situation, one could apply for adjustment of status. But any request for change of status is looked upon with great disfavor.
What about if somebody comes here, visitor, tourist visa, even the business visa, and decides that they've found a school that would like to take some courses at, they might want to get a degree. Is there some ability to change status for that?
In fact, this is a very interesting question. Now, laws have changed after 9/11. Earlier, people would come on visitor visa and they would apply for change of status to student visa, which we call F1, and it would be granted. But now, when you get admitted to a school here and you are a visitor here, better you go back. Don't apply for change of status here. And if you think while coming to the United States that you are coming here to explore the possibility of getting admitted to some school, then tell the CBP, Customs and Border Protection Officer at the port of entry, that I have an intent to look for an admission to a college or university. So they will write in the record that this person is a potential student. And if that kind of notation is made, change of status is allowed. Otherwise, change of status is not allowed, because the presumption is that person committed a fraud, and because his intent was to change it to a student visa, but that person didn't disclose his intent when he was inspected by the CBP officer at the port of entry. So this is a very tricky situation. I always advise my clients, get the admission, go back to your country, present yourself before the consular officer at the US Embassy, and come back after grant of F1 visa status in your passport.
And that poses no difficulty, I presume.
Of course, he is subject to questioning. His requests and applications are scrutinized very well by the consular officer, but if it is a genuine admission to a bona fide school, if the whole transaction is bona fide, absolutely no problem.
That's good to hear. There's many people who want to take advantage of our excellent universities here and our excellent schools here, and it's good to know that that's an available option for them. And presumably, if they're just looking around even, it's a good idea to tell the border officials that that's one of the things they're going to be looking at.
Yes, they have to make their intent known while seeking admission to the United States. Otherwise, you get admission, just go back to your own country and present yourself before the US Embassy, get the visa stamp and come back.
When they tell the border officials that they are going to look at schools, does that pose any problem when they're coming over on the B visa?
Of course, he is subject to further questions. Officer would like to make sure that this person is really trying to get admission to school and he doesn't have any other intent. Yes.
Very good, very good. Well, that's certainly a lot of good information about the B visa, and I'm sure it's the type of thing that many people have concerns about.
Oh yes, I mean all these people who are watching, they are concerned about grant of B1, B2 visa, because they are looking forward to inviting their friends or relatives to come and participate in weddings or birthday parties. So this is something very important and dear to our audience. Yes.
Thank you very much for coming in and sharing that with the audience today, and it's been very informative.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate that.